let's just roll into that. So, what do you guys think of the state of the game? You want to start first, Feelix?
Where do I think we're at? I think we're in a very big period of change.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal opinion. I think there's a lot coming on, which is certainly to try and correct the course of Dusk. And I think we're starting to see some of that really bite. The last couple of changes have been huge. Certainly from the point of view of getting the foundation in place, performance, it's been a big problem, certainly on mobile. Just trying to be able to use the game's been a problem. But you're starting to see a lot more of the forward-thinking, visionary stuff come out now as to what they're planning. You're seeing the quest series come out. You're seeing
Mm-hmm.
missions come out. You're seeing them starting to let more out of the bag around different types of materials and different items in the game, such as thorium or um, starports or whatever it might be. So I think we're in that stage, which is kind of a bit of a foundation bedding in type stage. Um, and I think actually, if you could weather just a few more weeks of this, I think you're going to start to see some really big progress going forward.
Sounds
And
good.
that's what, yeah.
What do you think, Mickey? Mikey?
Mike, yeah, I know it is a weird name.
No.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
going off of that, I really think the current state of the game is at a point where they've developed the UI, they've plugged into several different areas. Hey, this is kind of an open thing here where it could hurt us, or it could hurt the game. Or I think they're really focusing in on the value of the token in the community. They want people to really enjoy the game and there to be value here. And for me personally, I think that this is one of the most valuable games out there. I've been doing this Web3 gaming stuff on Wax since the end of 21, and
Oh, sorry, you cut out at the end there.
I was just I was just thinking that I think the state of the game is at a great spot where it's getting ready to go to the next level. The UI
Mm-hmm.
stuff has been kind of
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up there.
We've lost you.
there.
I don't know if there's like an airplane flying over or what you got. The meta shield is up. It's blocking the signal.
You should have got a mythic. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. You go common. You get radio interference.
yeah, yeah. I think obviously well said.
Let me.
I think the state of the game is doing pretty good. Like there's definitely a huge amount of players. You got what 10K reoccurring players, as Mitch mentioned not that long ago, and the updates have just been at a really good pace because after a while things get kind of lull and boring. And what we're seeing here is a team that's actually really committed to progressing the game and that has a basically a large roadmap that isn't just for like 1 month, 2 months out, but it's actually a year,
Yeah.
2, 3 years out. And this seems to be the team that could actually to do the things that they actually say. So, and I like that.
Yeah. I mean, they come under a lot of criticism for the amount of updates there are. There's always new stuff coming out. There's always new tweaks, new changes, new meta changes. Um, and it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you never feel settled. You never feel like you can just do what you want to do for a period of a month or 2 months or whatever. It's always changing. But that's also good from the point of view that people have to continually invest if they want to keep up with it. It is a choice. Don't forget, you could just sit there and carry on. But if you want to keep up with it, you get new buildings, you get new loops, you get new everything. That drives the demand in Dusk. And for me, the back end of this is everybody wants a stable Dusk because there's no point playing the game because it's all built around that concept of you have something your own, you have some value there.
Mm-hmm.
If Dusk is worthless, it's kind of a bit pointless.
Yeah, that's true.
How you doing, Mikey?
Yeah, it seems like your
In an
connection might
area with
be.
not the best reception.
What are you guys doing? What do you guys think about professions? What professions are you guys doing, and how's that going for you guys?
I think professions are the hidden secret source of the game. I think they're huge, and I think they're vastly underrated, and I think people are looking at them the wrong way.
Mm.
Because if you're looking at a profession now and you're saying, what can I do with this profession? You're probably approaching it wrong. What you need to be doing is saying, it's going to take me some time to get really good in my profession. I need to be at a good skill level. And that's not 50. Getting to 50 is relatively easy. When you're
Mhm.
approaching 100, that's really expensive, really, really expensive. Um, but you need to be aiming, well, where am I going to go with this? How high do I want to take it? Because it will be, the higher they are, the more valuable they are, because you're limiting the audience which can compete with you. Now, for me, you've got to pick the one you enjoy. And
Mhm.
I'm into chemistry. I love my bit of chemistry. I think it's going to be great. But I'm looking at it from the point of view of rocket fuel for stuff to be a bit more visionary than actually just because I can make PVC. It's kind of a bit boring. And
Right.
I think actually things like mining, mining really interests me. I think asteroid mining, I think that sort of stuff. There's nothing in mining at the moment, but if you look at it sort of 2 months in advance, that's where you've got to be. Pick the one you think you're going to enjoy
Hmm.
and just trust the game to give you a good value loop that it's going to be useful. Because basing it on what you've got now, by the time you get to a decent skill level, it's all going to have changed.
That sounds good. What do you think, Mikey?
Yeah, 100% off of what Felix was saying. You got to be able to kind of figure out what you want to do and go with it and kind of stick to it. And also, Santi, you've made videos in the past. Like you've got to be able to, shift into something else quick too. So it really forces you to be strategic and also focus in on the things you want to create. So
Hmm.
the biggest thing I love about this game is that you can do whatever you want now too. As I'm looking even closer at it.
Yeah. Facts. I'm
Yeah,
kind of yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, for me, if you have some skill in everything, that's fine, but you've got to pick the
Hmm.
ones you want to go with. Just being general on all of them means you're not going to do any of them well.
Exactly. Agreed.
Hmm. Yeah, I could see
Sorry,
that.
Santi, you go.
No, for me, I'm liking it a lot. I like the
Oh,
system as a whole. Like electricians, we were paying them, just one per stam for cell two, cell three, not that long ago. And now the people who actually enjoy electrical, or maybe they're entry players and that's all they can do, they're getting two per stam, three per stam now. And I think that's a really good thing because it's like, why not? Like having the ability to earn more for specializing in things is definitely cool. And even though I'm shelling out more for like the same tasks, I know that it's going to somebody else who probably could use it or needs it or whatever. So just like when I buy seeds, that helps somebody out, and when people buy
Yeah,
what I sell, that helps them. Vice versa, or helps me. But yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I like the layered system too, where it's like if you're level 5, you get to do some things. If you're level 15, you get to do some things, and then 25, 50, and so on. So I
yeah,
like the progression. It feels good, especially when you unlock the higher level tiers. Like
yep.
at first, I was like, "Oh, I'll never hit 50. Or it's gonna take forever." It actually didn't take that long, and it felt really good. Like I'm getting that MMO quest done achievement feeling. You know what I mean? So
I
it feels good.
Yeah. See, I was a big hater on electrical. Really didn't like it, and I still don't
Mhm.
really like it at all. I think it's kind of a waste at the moment.
That's why you
But
have no
that's just
batteries.
that's why I have no power, and it's always interesting because I think actually these days with the price of books, and it's always the books which is the cost, getting to 50 electrical isn't that hard, and it's really nice to be able to dump your power into electrical because you don't have to worry about jobbing it out. It's worth 2 or 3 Dusk. It's a relatively good return.
Hmm.
There's not much on DigiPedro where you can go through and find sort of 4, 5, 6 Dusk, and certainly as a new player, being able to be a little bit self-sustaining, create your own power to start those loops, I think actually that's quite powerful.
That's
And this
awesome.
is coming from someone who hates electrical.
You do. Yeah,
I
hey,
hate it.
it's like you said. Hate it now, but in a couple months, it could be a lot cooler.
Well, they've already stated that they're going to go for the bigger power, whether it's a nuclear power plant or some sort of power grid, or
Yeah.
they're changing the way power's done. It's not always going to be solar panels.
Right.
And I think actually bearing that in mind, electrical could be super huge. And certainly when I look at the skills and go, what's interesting? Mining, I think, yeah, asteroid mining, thorium mining, I think would be great. Fabrication, you'll be able to build any building you like. Mining's kind of taking that twist with tools now that they're doing all the tools in, machining. So it is all changing, um, and it's for me electrical. I think it's the bit of the hidden one. Not that I'm going to go that way. I'll stick with my chemistry because I want rocket fuel and I want that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think for a new player, there's no reason why not going to 50 on your electrical isn't a good solid foundation. Even if you take it no further than there, it'll get you going.
Yeah, I
Makes
mean,
sense.
unless you've got like a if you've got like a resource budget, you can just buy your power. I mean, you got to be able to charge. So charging is huge. So yeah, building up that electrical level is kind of like mandatory, or it just happens in the background anyway when you first start. So for me, I've just kind of I don't know what's going on with electrical now. Like the prices of things are so weird. So it's like, what is happening? Is something happening? And should we be ready for that? And that's kind of what I like to touch upon lately is like going through that market. What is out there? What's profitable? What makes sense? What can you create as is that you have? Start there. What do you have for buildings that you can create? And then start just exploring that DigiPedro and start like looking at the prices every day and really get a feel for it. It's really funny how you can play just on the marketplace. Sometimes I'm just on the market all day long, just like making deals or like seeing what I can do. So it's an interesting game, my friends.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting comment right out the bat. Is that there is definitely a time zone thing to the market, and you can look at it the same hours every day. There'll be lows, and the same hours every day there'll be highs. If you, as a new player, just wanted to buy low, sell high, you could absolutely do it.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Really
it's like
good.
it's crazy. Things like for me, things dip overnight and then they climb back up when it's daytime for me. So it's cool to see that, and you can definitely make plays on that. I haven't done that myself, but I know when I should be selling and when I shouldn't be. So I try to
Yeah,
sell when it's more active and during my time zone for sure.
and I mean you don't necessarily have to play it, but when you buy and
Hmm.
sell stuff, just put market orders in.
Yeah,
Don't just do the instant order. If you're stuck for dusk, put a low order in. Just wait a little bit of time. Be a bit patient, and it will fill
that's
because
a
there's
good
a
tip.
lot of very impatient people there, and they
Hmm.
will just dump to it. There's no surprise that legendary solar panels have been sold for one dusk because people just dump them.
Right. Yeah. Or you get that little accident, like, oops, thought that was quantity.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad that would be? Like, oh man,
What was
somebody's
it?
done it.
Yeah. Was it
Hmm.
2 days ago? Wasn't it a chem lab? Legendary chem lab went for 5 dusk.
No
I mean,
way.
yeah, it's still happening now.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna have to
yeah.
put some low orders in now.
Oh yeah. I used to have a few.
But that would be my tip. Yeah, put if you want buildings, put low orders on legendaries and just leave them there
Yeah.
because eventually they will fill. You'll be waiting a bit, but
Hmm.
so leaving 10 dusk there to try and pick up the legendary building you want. You won't get a Roverworks, but you might get something else.
Yeah. And even like a small gap, like if you're trying to just save like 50 dusk, you can just do it a little cheaper. You catch that one person who wants to sell like right now, you could get that same item for like 50 or 100 dusk cheaper, just being a little patient.
Yeah, I mean, classic example: if you're making research notes for your library and you're
Hmm.
buying paper, just put it 10% less. It will fill. Somebody will dump it.
Yeah.
It's You need a lot of research notes. You'll save yourself a lot of dusk.
Say, since we're like kind of hitting on professions and stuff too, um, what do you guys think about the future change for sowing seeds?
I love it.
You guys
I
think
think it's great.
the is it gonna price is gonna go up on seeds, down? It'll be about the same. Think the skill is gonna be
I
really
don't know too
high.
much about I don't know too much about the seeds too much. I mean,
Hmm.
they have been kind of crazy, so I think this will definitely bring a balance, if anything. So that's all I could kind of input on that because I haven't really utilized seeds for a while. I was doing
Hmm.
the seeds at the beginning when I was doing a lot of growing in the greenhouse and stuff. I just haven't done things from that start yet. Um, so I just think it will bring balance, though, from what I'm feeling.
So with the seed, so there's this machining kit they're going to add to the greenhouse to turn it into a seed house. So that's going to do a couple of things. I think when that's announced, as in it's now live, you'll see the price of greenhouses go up. So
Hmm.
if you want to buy some greenhouses and just stockpile them, they're relatively cheap. I think that's not a bad shout. I think what you're then going to get is there is a lot of people stockpiling a lot of seeds at the moment.
Hmm.
So I'm not necessarily sure you're going to see a short-term change in price. I think it's going to be relatively constant. Um, but the one thing I would reckon on seeds is you're going to need a minimum of a life skill of 60 to make any seed. I think they're going to be super high skill. And I think in reality, there is going to catch a lot of people unawares with that. And you're then going to hit a dip as people run out of their seeds and new seeds take time to come to the market. So yeah, so you'll end up with a dip in supply, an increase in price, and then it will try and normalize a bit because you're going to
Okay.
need a high skill.
Yeah. I think I agree with most of that. Maybe not so much on the skill. I think some of the seeds will be easier, like a potato, right? Potatoes are pretty dang easy to grow in real life. I mean, you literally cut the potato in half, it grows those little eye thingies, and you stick it in the ground, throw some water on it and fertilizer, and you're good to go. Um, you know what I mean? Versus like maybe sorghum seeds in real life, or I don't know if the sorghum's in real life or not, but anyway,
It is a
is
real
it
thing.
okay? It's a real thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have no idea. But some things are harder to grow than others. So I'm thinking if they kind of take that approach, maybe some seeds will be on the lower end of skill, maybe 30s to start, then like 30, 60, 90 or something like that.
Yeah,
But I don't
I don't
know
see that.
because it's
I
an
just
optional
don't see.
upgrade too. So maybe it will have that higher end skill cap, because you don't have to change your greenhouse over and you
So I
will
mean,
have to buy it probably.
yeah. So you'll have to buy the
Hmm.
machining kit, and you'll have to get your greenhouse, and it's a one
Yeah.
way conversion as well. So you're
Hmm.
not going to convert all your greenhouses. You're going to need more land. You're going to need more greenhouses.
Yeah.
The only reason why I say that I think it'll be a lot higher skill, where else do they go with life science? If you don't make it a high level skill, what's the point of leveling your life science? Filter water 3 is about as high as you go at the moment. There's no reason for you to hit 100. They've got to put something in there. And I
Yeah, that's
agree
true.
that cooking's coming, so there'll be lots of new cooking stuff,
But that's
which
cooking.
will, yeah, but you're going to have to get the ingredients for it.
Oh, fair. That's true.
So we might see new things to grow, like, I don't know,
Ooh.
whatever you can think of.
Wait, the animals
Loads.
could be the higher in life science.
You can have animals, so they've said that it's not going
Hmm.
to be vegetarian. It is going to be
Right.
meat based as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
I just see the seeds at the start of that gap up to 100 before you go any higher.
Okay. That's fair. That's cool. I like how we all have like a different take on it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of why we do
well,
this, right? I love it.
exactly.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's good times.
Now,
But
what do you
gone
think? Go ahead. I was
mining.
going to switch it. What about
No, I
mining?
wanted mining. I love. I just love the
Yeah?
whole concept of mining,
Why don't you
and it
do
is.
mining?
I am so tempted. I want to be on those asteroids mining stuff.
It's
I
kind of like
just.
we don't know what it's going to be. You know what I mean? So like it could be
We've had
really awesome.
clues.
We have
We've had a
clues.
lot of clues. So
Hmm.
there's the large ores, medium ores, which were in the shop, which are now out of
Yeah.
the shop. So that's going to be in a variety of there. I just don't see them leaving metals being a rover only resource. That's why there's no
Hmm.
point making them. I think that will all change um, with a bit of a rover overhaul. I can see that meta changing quite a lot. But I just think mining is open to so much interpretation. We know nothing about it. It could be the real hidden golden egg.
That'd be sweet. Especially
Yeah, I
once.
just started
Oh,
doing more mining. Oh,
mm-hmm.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go for it.
I was just saying, I just started doing more mining. Like at the beginning, I've been doing this for like over 100 days. So it's like at the beginning, I started doing a majority of a lot of things. So I haven't
Mhm.
really dug back into mining until recently, and I'm loving it. Same thing as Felix. It really is, something you can do, and you don't have to be too skilled to do it in the
Mhm.
game. So it'll be interesting to see, where that goes, because it seems like there are things that are open for change, and then things that are kind of like left in wait. You know what I mean? So if you're
Yeah.
doing stuff, enjoy stuff before things change, type thing. Like, I like to focus on the things that no one's like electrical. What is going on with electrical? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'm still kind of grabbing that too. So it's like, where are these things going? You might as well kind of have a pulse on some of these things, and whatever you're doing that might not be a hit right now doesn't mean that you have to go run to the thing that's a hit. I think we saw that with coffee. Maybe we can even touch upon that, just how
Mhm.
certain things, even if we mention mining in this call, people might be like, I'm gonna go mine, and it causes this whole like ripple effect, butterfly effect throughout the creation of
Yeah.
the game. You know what I mean?
Mhm. That's a good point. Like, I was feeling FOMO for fabrication. Like, it seemed like fabrication just had everything, and it was so cool, and you could make buildings, and it just had everything, and it was just like I could really go into fabrication, but then I just decided like, hey, you know what? I already got this coffee set up. I'm doing chemistry. I'm doing life science. And instead of trying to do everything myself and get all these skills, like I can literally just pay Felix to craft it for me, because he's got the skill. He's good at it. He likes fabrication. And I don't have to, even though I kind of want to do fabrication and I kind of want to do machining now that it's cool. Um, but it's just like, you know what? I've already kind of set my feet into these two things. I'm going to stick with it. So, yeah.
I think that's a really good sentiment because,
Definitely.
and I think it's their hidden trap, which I don't think people realise. So I'm what? Chemistry 80, fabrication kind of 100. I'm almost hitting 100.
Mhm.
The cost for me to level anything else without me getting some sort of clawback from what I've put into getting those skills up is prohibitive. There is no point me changing into anything else at this stage. But what that does is open up these newer skills because we've all FOMOed into the relatively fabrication and chemistry and a bit of life science because the reality was those were the sexy ones when skills came out. We've all got those base ones.
Mhm.
New players coming in now have got the freedom to look at it a bit more and go, do you know what? I want to choose, I don't know, electrical because that's my thing. Um, and the reality is, for us to then compete with an electrician or who's an electrical 100 is impossible. We would never do it. We would never change. So actually, there is a whole lot of green sort of turf for people to play in, where a lot of the long-term players are just not going to go to.
Right. Especially after they
Just do.
specialize.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
specialization is
yeah.
another thing. I
Hmm.
mean, losing all of your XP back down to 100 and having a week sort of lockout, you're going to not do that very often.
Right. Yeah. Unless
Yeah.
there's something you really want to switch into, like I would just stay with whatever you like, whatever maybe became fond of right away and just ride it out, At least before
Yeah.
100. Like if you change before 100, cool. But changing after 100, that's you know.
So my latest levels to go from what 95 to 100,
Hmm.
I kid you not, it must be in the territory roughly of 3k Dusk a level just on books. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
You
How
ain't
are you
changing it.
how are you doing
Yeah.
levels, Mikey?
So yeah, for me, I'm doing level 50 on electrical,
Nice.
level 35 on chemistry,
Hmm.
and 25 on life science, 40, like 47 on scavenging. So those are like my like main things, and you kind of talk about what you guys talking about. I really feel like it kind of finds you, like what you want to specialize in, and I haven't even thought that far right now. I'm just
Hmm.
looking at what I have, and I'm always like tempted to upgrade and move things around. I'm always tempted, but I'm just like, what? Let me work with what I have and make this work. And I think there are little surprises that come up, like me finding mining, getting back into mining, and that
Hmm.
that came from the Martizens. I think we're kind of getting closer to talking about Martizens because you're talking about what he's doing and all this stuff. with the Martizens, it gives you this extra level of playing. Like for me, I find myself being able to do so much more and rediscover other things with the Martizens. So I can tap into a couple other things with them that I'm not really tapping in on with who I am, with me as the player, with my electrical level and my life science and chemistry levels, I'm able to build other tiers of play throughout this game. So I think that, there's just so many different layers to this game that it's just if you're brand
Yeah.
new, just kind of listen to some of these guys' videos and just start. There's plenty of getting started videos out there. Just kind of do your own research, number one, and then just figure it out from there. You don't have to go all in and have lands and buildings and all this stuff right off the bat. You can simply start with scavenging and just kind of feeling it out and checking into the
Hmm.
community and doing your own study. So that's what I recommend too.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I'd second that. Community is everything.
Absolutely.
This game is huge, it's complex. You really need to sit and think and learn about it, and the best way of doing that is asking questions in the community. Yeah, I really recommend that.
Absolutely. And since we kind of, I think Mikey was touching on settlements a little bit, and then community. What I know, Mikey, you've done a video on settlements about are they good or are they not? You want to like share your thoughts? Like, I don't think
Yeah,
Felix has seen it yet. He doesn't
I
even
think
watch
I went
my
a
video. He
little.
doesn't watch my
I
videos.
know, I
Okay,
don't.
so I don't know if he'll watch yours,
Come
but
on, man. Felix, you got to
but I
step up
liked
here.
it.
We need you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I think I just kind of like, you always got to put on a little controversy, right? And
Hmm.
Yeah,
with the settlements, I was just kind of like, I don't know. One day I was just like, I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I could see the vision like a million steps down the road, and I, kind of thought that it was happening a lot faster. And then I just was like, you know what? I want this to be a thing that I see in my mind, but it's like creating like all this like extra stuff when it's like we can all just kind of work together and figure something out. But I don't think the community is there yet. I think there's a lot of people just really hungry to level up and new players coming in and older players trying to do their thing. So I think there's a real, just different level of connection that for me, the settlement thing is just something I'm rethinking myself personally. Not that I'm going to make any drastic changes. I have, since focused just on my own thing right now, and I'm going to be, bringing that back to where it needs to be. I just wanted to really focus in on it right now because I think there's a little bit of work that needs to be done out there with just everything settlement related. There's a lot of new stuff, so not everything's going to hit right off the bat. It does take some time for things to really get going. I mean, my video is just my opinion, how I was feeling in the moment. So
Yeah.
no disrespect to anybody or anything.
Hmm.
It's just just a thought and just a thought provoking, controversial video. So that's my thoughts.
Yep.
so what was your
Hmm.
negative view of it? Was it just
So,
it,
like, I think everybody wants to really provide like the best rent and the free power, and you see it out there in the community. People just want to, well, here's what my thing has to offer, and then you get
yeah,
you get it going, and as soon as you get like 15 or 20 people in there, or at least five people who are really excited and ready to run, you get a little bit of that friction where somebody expects this, and why aren't you doing it like this? And I see it like this, and it's not like it's this whole group of people coming at me. It was just a
yeah,
point where it's like, you know what? Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm trying to be too perfect, and I'm trying to like keep things too like lax. Maybe I need to make more sense of it and go about it in that way. So I'm kind of going
yeah.
at it with that view now. Than, oh, let's have the best rent and this and that. It's
So
gonna be so fabulous, and it is. You can do it. It just takes a lot to really maintain.
I think that's the hidden thing with certainly Settlements version 1 is it's a lot of admin. And certainly I was speaking to
Yeah,
Undisputed Noob Steve, and he is suffering horrendously with just trying to run it because it takes a lot of time. And I think what's happened with it is, you're right. We're lucky, certainly in our guild, that Thinker has been doing an amazing job and looking after it for us. But in reality, it's consuming all of his time to do that. Now, as a settlement member, you're kind of joining it for two reasons, or one of two reasons. Either it's a community you signed up to and you're quite happy to be a part of it, and you'll take it as it is and invest in it as you would any other guild, and it's very cooperative and very community driven. Or the other approach is you're using it because you want cheap rentals or access to cheap something or other, and you're just shopping around for the best price. Now, I think that's probably going to change over time, where settlement owners will end up with trying to make a decent profit from the rentals in that second category. And you won't get a hold of such cheap buildings, and you'll need to join a community guild if you want the community piece, um, which is there to support each other. So it does vary, I think, depending upon your purpose. But I don't think it's a free ticket. I think it started off that way, and I think it's people have realised and changed their opinion.
Yeah,
Definitely agree with that.
yeah, that's fair. I don't have a. I probably have the least amount of experience like running one, obviously, because I'm just in one, and I hardly ever rent the buildings because I like to leave them free for the other members. So, from what I'm hearing, it just sounds like maybe you guys could use some more tools, and maybe it's just a bit early. Like this is version one settlements. Like, give it 3 6 months time, and we could have version two, version three, and this could be like so awesome. I think it's just a foundation, temporarily, and stuff like that.
I mean, we need
Oh
to
yeah,
remember this
I don't
game's in
discredit
alpha.
what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
We need to remember this game's in alpha,
yeah,
really. I mean, yes, we're developing, we're going as, but it is still early days, and there is mistakes being made, and they are fixing them. And I really like the rapidness to their fixes.
hmm
But yeah, settlements was out there to get the line in the sand as to what we're doing. Settlements V2 brings a lot more of the roles to help us with that guild management, to help with being able to do better payouts. There's a lot of administrative functions which most people won't see, but
right.
for settlement owners, it's going to be huge, and we really need it. And that's supposed to be within the next month, hopefully, and it'll make a big difference.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think along with Felix, like I think that everything that they're doing, I don't have a problem with anything that they're doing in this game. When they come
hmm
out and say things are like nerfed, it's like, what do you expect? There's a hole. Like Felix said, it's in alpha phase. So there's a
hmm
hole in the system. They're seeing these little spots and they're fixing them. And some people made out, and it was a big profit or whatever it may be for them. And that's just how it goes. It's not meant to be like, oh, look at this, the floodgates are open over here, and just everybody have at it. It's like we would never have the game we have today or the game we'll have in the future if we ever thought that that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because, and things are so short lived. So I've been here not since the beginning, since the start of the year, and it's changed massively. And people complain about a change because it hurts them, because it's less revenues, because they've invested money. I mean, you don't hear anybody complaining the fact that you can no longer get mythic buildings from doing tasks within the game. That was a thing that existed. People no longer complain that rovers were always 0% chance to break on
Hmm.
all rovers.
Really?
It's all stuff that has changed over time, where actually now um, we just seem to complain about the latest problem or the latest nerf, or it's not a
hmm
nerf, it's just us getting the game into a good spot for us to carry on into the future. If Dusk went to zero, the
hmm
game's dead. Then, and what I really, really like about and I feel really positive about is they don't let that happen. And we can name pretty much any other game where that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. That's one thing
Yeah,
I've.
this has been the
Mhm.
most stable for sure. This has just been the most stable game that I've been involved. Felix said, like, you get in the game
Mhm.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, maybe max, and it's toast.
Right. Yeah. This is one of those games where I don't even feel like I want to really take the Dusk out. You know, I mean, I have. I mean, I've been playing the game like 4 months, right? I could have ROI'd by now. I just chose not to, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's these guys. Like, I trust the team. I trust the game. And I'm not really worried about it because obviously I put in, what I wasn't afraid to lose. And I mean, I'd rather have it, of course, but it's like at the same time, it's like I'm having fun. I get like unlimited content because there's no shortage of content with this game. So,
Dude,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, just like last night, like, but we had this podcast scheduled for like a day and a half or two. We've been talking about it for like a week, some of us, but like the night before they dropped some big changes, and I think we kind of loosely touched on it, like with the taxes and the Dusk and some of those changes, and some of that was even noted to be temporarily. So like if it seems like it kind of sucks right now, I think we just need to be patient, wait. We're already seen a little bit of a pump on Dusk, like 30% improvement in the last 24 hours or less. So
Let's just have a quick look.
we can see that it seems to be kind of working. They've also tried other things too to help out with like the celebrity event. A lot of the whales did dump a lot of Dusk. We got the T-shirt thing now, and then there's been some buffs and nerfs to kind of to kind of taper the Dusk outflows, and I think all this stuff will kind of come together and merge and definitely help make Dusk stable again. So yeah.
Did you get
Well,
a
yeah.
T-shirt?
No, but I'm thinking about it.
Dude, I got the Vibe Pirates one.
You did?
Yep.
Nice.
I was like, I have to. I can't not get it.
Well, I have a question. Why is that one 7 or whatever 7,000, and why is the other one only 5K? Is there a difference?
So I think the 225, the limit 25, the first 25 are for the
Mhm.
Dusk. In Dusk We Trust, and then the Vibe Pirates, and then the first one, the just Million on Mars, is for the like 50 quantity. So I think the 777 ones are quantity 25, the first
Okay.
25, and then the first one is 50. So I think that's where
Yeah.
the difference is.
I might have to get one.
Yeah,
I'll regret it if I don't. I know that. I'll be like, once they sell
I
out,
mean,
I'll be like, damn
but
it.
and it's an NFT. Like you're buying
Mhm.
an NFT digitally, and people are gonna be like, I just bought this shirt with an NFT and it was sent to me. Like
Mhm.
they're gonna think it's the biggest deal, That's where
Yeah.
this is all going.
So,
Yeah, that's
do they
pretty neat.
ship it internationally, or is it just you US lucky souls?
I think everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they've. I don't know.
Buy it
You
and
have to
make them
get
have
one.
to send it to you.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I might just
Let us
do
know.
that.
Yeah. Let them figure it out. Like, nope, send it. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, we don't get UPS here. You'll have to send it by pigeon.
right? Oh man, those days.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I lost my sheet.
So what about Martizens? What's
Yeah,
your guys' impression of Martizens?
I
Whole
love
nother
them.
gameplay level, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Like imagine if you could just play in the morning and you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I ran through my stamina. Well, I'm done for the day until I get home from work. Well, imagine if like you could play all day through work with your Martisans, just assigning them. Like you have so many things you can do with these guys. Like that's the cool thing. You've got like 5 or 6 extra tasks you could even do. I mean, depending on how many you have, obviously. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just kind of opened up a whole other gameplay, more expansive, So that's my take.
so what skills have you got your Martizens in?
Mine is I have one in mining, one in electrical. I think it was level came standard as a level 20 or level 25, I think. So I don't know what that. It was a manager, so manager level electrical.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was like a really good one that I pulled. And then the others are just novice, entertainer, mining, and chemistry. So
Mhm.
Okay.
that's what I'm
So
working with.
are you training them up to like a minimum level in something, or?
So yeah, basically right now I'm just kind of like with the electrical, I'm working on that one because I want to get that to level 50 so I can have me and a Martizen charging power cell threes, and then everyone else I'm kind of just mixing in one of them that's the miner. I'm using that's who I'm using to do my mining. So yeah, I'm just kind of focusing like that, using them wherever I can use them to just kind of obviously complete more tasks and just further the game.
Nice.
Santi, what you're doing?
Well, real quick before I forget, that entertainer, I think that's gonna be a big thing down the road, especially for like the gallery. They might have like a gallery only they can do task, or maybe something in the cantina. Who knows? I'm excited to see like when that comes into play, because that is a big mystery too. What is the entertainer gonna do? The entrepreneur and obviously the cook's
What
gonna
about
cook, but
Aerospace
Aeros?
too.
aerospace too, and
I
that's
got an
gonna probably
aerospace
tie.
and an
Yeah,
entertainer, yeah.
yep, and that'll tie into what your chemistry and probably your electrical in some ways, and then obviously fab because you have to build it or machining too for parts or something. But it's crazy. Like there's a whole
Dude,
mess of game we kind of know about that's not even in yet, and it's
this isn't even the
yeah.
game yet. We're not even really
Hmm.
playing the game. They're like, oh guys, we're releasing the real game in two
Hmm.
months. Here you go.
Right?
So talking about that, did you see? I'm not sure if they've mentioned it anytime recently, but they have a 3D version of the game on Steam already. I don't know if you know that this bit exists. That you can
Really?
play that even now. Um, and the long-term view was that
Hmm.
they were going to merge the two together, but that's way,
Yeah.
way, way out.
If
So you could
Uh,
have.
yeah.
my wife is like, I can't stand looking at those cells on your screen.
Hmm.
I want to see someone moving around. Like, oh, it's
Right?
coming. I'm sure it's gonna be here. Don't worry.
I guess that's what
Yeah.
the Steam game is like. And then they were talking about this today on the AMA for the celebrity giveaway. That
Will they?
yeah, and Mitch was saying there was something about like is 3D coming, and he said he wants to see both. Like that way, maybe if you're used to the 2D view, you can still do that. But if you do want the 3D experience, that could be something. Obviously not soon, but it was like it's a thought, it's an idea, of course, and you'll
If
have
they
to
can
listen to
blur
it
that,
because I'm not doing it justice. But yeah, they did bring it up.
yeah. If
Kyle
they can
really likes
blur
it.
it, yeah, you could
Yeah.
do the rover PvP and put rover racing in. There's
Oh
certainly
yeah.
a big blur you could do there.
Yeah.
Or
I
just
want the racing to
metaverse.
come
You
in.
put your goggles on in the metaverse, and you walk into
Yeah.
your coffee, and you start your brew machine. You go into your mining rig, and you hit the
Hmm.
switch, and you go to your tea shop, and you throw on
Hmm.
you know the
Yeah,
baju or get the mushrooms going. I think it's going to be metaverse related.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean it's just a
That'd be
matter of
cool.
time. Got to build the
yeah.
infrastructure first,
Yeah.
which they're doing a great job. This is like the
Hmm.
best team that I've seen on the Wax blockchain in this space. And I mean, I haven't been in a full year yet in this space, but
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Super transparent. I mean, you saw the notes from last night. It was like,
Oh my god.
golly, it was bigger
I'm like,
than chapter
I'm gonna
one.
use 80 stamina before I go read
Mhm.
this. Let me go charge all my stuff and run all
Yeah.
my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
But yeah,
massive note.
certainly I must admit on
Uh,
my Martizens I've gone pure life science. I just want to grow absolute tons of food with it.
oh
And
yeah,
it's works so well. Really has.
Yeah,
for
like
So
sure.
even like mushrooms, like I just started getting into tea, so it's
Hmm.
like growing mushrooms from the start and doing that, and then brewing the mushroom tea is a really good loop as well. If you're into the
Yeah.
life science thing, of course, that's the that's the other part. They make it more difficult for people to be like, oh, I want to go do tea now. I'm gonna go do coffee now. I'm gonna go do this. No, no, you gotta level these things up. So that's the other piece I like. Those
yeah.
little
Hmm.
passes.
And I think it's a bit of the lull which they've got us into is certainly in the life science space. You can do what? Soy at 15, mushrooms at 20. I can't remember what mushroom tea is, but I don't remember it being particularly high. Mushroom cakes is like Fab 10. So
Yeah.
it kind of lulls you into this false sort of point of view that level 20 is high. It's not. And there is going to become a very, very quick,
Hmm.
sharp reaction at some point when you need to be level 50, 60 to do anything.
Yeah. Definitely. I
Right.
mean,
Agree.
yeah. I've got Martians
They
that level.
Yeah,
So
they even said when I
yeah.
remember when they were doing charge cycle. Remember, you could charge all like 1, 2, and 3. It was no problem. Like you didn't have to have any levels. They said, "Hey,
Hmm.
we're gonna be changing that soon, just so you know." So I remember, I remember just doing it as much as I possibly could. So there's these little tips. If you're plugged into the Discord, you can just be like, "Oh, cool. Let me focus on that." They dropped so many tips,
Oh yeah.
even in the book chapters. Like even in chapter 1 of that book, I've just started really
Hmm.
getting into that. Like there's these little drops in there, and they're not, they're making them very obvious. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
So
I'll put a link to your channel in the description once the video comes out. And if you haven't seen Crypto Mikey, he did read chapter one all the way through, and it's really cool. I'm glad you did because I've always wanted to read the chapters, but it's like, I'll put it off till the next day, and then I never read the chapters, so I'm still. I think I've read like the first sentence on chapter one, and that's where I'm at, like
Yeah.
with actually reading it. But so the fact that you did the video on it where I could just listen while I was at work, that was fantastic. And I actually really did like the story and how it was unfolding. And I won't spoil it right now, but it was really cool. And then, yeah, I don't know. It was awesome.
Agreed, and thanks for that. And
Hmm.
that's just another level of this game. Carrie Walters, she wants it to be a book, so it's like think
Yeah.
about that. There's this book just floating around. Oh, what is this? Peel back the layers of the onion, and all of a sudden
Hmm.
people are just joining in on the game here online. So
Yeah.
You gonna
it's
read
so
the
cool to
rest?
see that. Oh yeah, I just started chapter 2 today, so I'm thinking
Awesome.
about releasing a new one every Thursday, just kind of like how they release
Ooh.
them on Thursday. So I'm thinking next
Yeah.
Thursday I'll release chapter
That'll
2
be
and then 3
cool.
and so forth. Yeah,
All
that's my
right.
focus.
That sounds great. Because at the end, it was really getting good. At first, I was kind of like confused, and then like at the end, I'm like, oh, this is getting good. Like,
It is
Uh,
confusing.
yeah.
You've got to read through it, and
Hmm.
like even me reading it, I was like, "Wait a minute, who are these people? What's going on here? Hold on." But
Yeah.
then listening to it and going through it like more than once, definitely, you get familiar with it. So like anything,
Mhm.
you just gotta go through it a couple times.
I must admit, I want to hear it because apparently Beto's
Uh-huh.
the character. Apparently, everybody loves Beto,
Did
and
you
it's just like,
really? I have no idea.
and I think that's chapter 3, and I've not read it either.
Have you
And it's
read
just
Yeah,
like,
he
any?
yeah,
comes in.
no,
He comes in
You
at
haven't
3.
read
Yeah.
any? You're
no,
like a veteran player. I mean, you were
I
here when
know.
they thought about the game. You know,
No,
I'm
not quite
kidding.
that early. Not quite that early. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you should listen to his voice on it.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
really
I'm going to do
cool.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah. It was
Training to
really good.
London, gonna do it.
Yeah. That's what I did. I was at work and I'm like, oh, this is great. And I didn't realize there was so much to it. Like there was
It's like an
actually,
hour, over
yeah.
10,000 words in the first
Hmm.
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that sounds good.
I'm glad I didn't start reading it myself because I didn't realize it was going to be that long either. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Martizens, totally enjoying them. I've got them doing the stuff that I'm into. Obviously, I'm into life science and chemistry, and I was wondering where to put their skills. I'm like, oh, I should have one for machining, one for fab, and one doing this and one doing that. And maybe that is a play, but I'm like, you know what? These guys could just help me with my daily stuff that I normally do,
Yep.
and I have them doing that. I have multiple at 25 life science. I have multiple at 25, 30 chem, and they're just helping me do what I normally do. So I still do like 400 jobs. It's not like they're relieving that from me because I can just charge more cells or do some other things. Since they're not helping me out, it's allowed me to kind of expand, and
Yep.
I'm loving them. And the recent buff that they did to them, that buff was like
That's huge.
massive, and it was really huge on the low to mid end too, and it was such a positive change. Like I know we want to focus on nerfs sometimes, and like oh we don't like this, we don't like that. Well, we gotta like praise like some of the good stuff that they do, like for the average or normal player, you know.
Yeah, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
sometimes there's a big view out there that it's always the whales that they're sorting.
Hmm.
Certainly, I'm not a whale by any stretch. There's a lot bigger fish
Yeah,
than me
right.
out there. But those are the guys who've been hit the hardest. Um, it really is
Hmm.
not aimed at the new players. They're very sensitive at the new players, and certainly things like this 40% tax on big withdrawals.
Hmm.
If you're just joining the game and doing a bit of scavenging and starting to build your land up, you're not taking out 25k or 5k, not anytime soon. And
Right.
it's yeah, it's all. If you are then thinking about taking stuff out, you can take 500 out a week or every other week, and it's not gonna. Um, yeah, the 10% tax on that is fine.
I don't even think we're at a spot where you should be taken out. I mean, I know we're all entrepreneur, or not all, but we're like in the
Hmm.
mind of investing, obviously. I mean, if you're really truly a player of this game, I believe like putting the money right back into it. And sure, like I took some out. The only time I took some out was for a Martizen. You know what I mean? So if you're
Hmm.
reinvesting back in the game, take it out all you want. I think though at this stage in any game, people who withdraw so much are is why, and I've been part of it too. It's why the game loses its wind in its sails. You know what I mean? It just totally flatlines it because of too much withdrawals. And I get it. People want to make their
Hmm.
profit and ROI, and I'm not going to say you shouldn't, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just saying, look at the facts. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
What I think you'll see happen, just talking about withdrawals, is because we're now starting to see a recovery in price and people are not withdrawing so much. Of course, there's some negative sentiment from some of the community saying I can't take out my money now and I can't dump it. Well, what it's done by increasing the price and reverting a downward trend, it's going to attract new users. I mean,
Mhm.
I joined purely on the price of the Dusk chart, and because it was just constant when I joined it, it would just been flat for months. Um, and a lot of people join for the same reason. If we're getting back into a positive trend, that will pull more people in than anything else.
Well said. That was really good. Yeah, I
So
second
we'll see
that.
how we'll see how it goes in the
Mhm.
next couple of months. But I'm expecting people just to come just because they look at it and go, actually, this game is not dying, and it's not. It's nowhere near.
Right.
It's been within the top 10 on Wax for like ever since I've been looking at it for over
Mhm.
100 days. I haven't seen it unless you get like 7 of the whatever Funko things up there that are just pumping, or some stupid game that's
Right.
just slamming for the next 48 hours.
Mhm.
So and we went on to Fractal into Solana,
Number
somewhere
2.
where we've been for what, a couple of months, 3 months, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know. I
if
can't
that.
remember.
Not even that.
Number 2,
Yeah.
and sat there for an
Mhm.
awful long time.
Yep.
That's not by any stroke of luck. That's engineered. So
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
great.
Yeah, I like that. So,
Yeah,
what do you guys think about Gen 3 lands?
I
I
like
don't
it.
know. What about them?
Well, they're
I don't know.
bigger.
I think it's cool. Like power to the
Yeah.
player. Maybe not selling as many Gen 2 packs anymore, kind of phasing that out, it seems like. Um yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean,
It seems pretty good.
it's their long-term ambition, isn't it, to
Hmm.
get away from doing pack sales? The administrative burden on them for that stuff is huge, and they're going to sell minting tokens, so they're not
Hmm.
losing out at all. It's
Right.
still $50 a pack or whatever it is, because you've just
Hmm.
got to buy the minting tokens.
Yeah.
What it does mean is the fact that they're bigger is really, really nice. They are
Hmm.
going to be more expensive, um, but certainly I can see that actually it adds a new dimension. There is no other game really where you have a choice to create something like this. I mean, a lot of other games do mint NFTs. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but actually it being part of the core arc is quite nice. And yeah, I suppose there are lots which do it, but for me, it's just that power to the player. It's that continuing what they've said that they wanted to do,
Hmm.
and Gen 3 buildings is the same. Um, and the fact that they're better than what we've got now, Gen 3 buildings, they're 30% bigger, as in the number of tasks,
Hmm.
than the Gen 2s or Gen 1s. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I was surprised to see that because I have a couple Gen 3 grind and brews, and it was like, oh, we're adding more tasks. I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Give me some more of that, please. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take it. So the only thing I
Yeah, I
wish
think
they
that
would change on it is like have it before you craft it. It should say if it's mintable or not. Because when I did make those grind and brews, I thought that they would be a mintable item because I thought all player crafted buildings like that were something you could make an NFT. So I was gonna give one away, use one, and then sell one in game. And since they're not mintable, then I wasn't able to do that. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. If I would have known, I would have only made two, right, or whatever I needed. So if there's an indicator, because some of these player crafted things are mintable and some aren't, and it's you don't know, and the player guide probably doesn't
Yeah.
tell you
I
either.
didn't realize that at all.
So it'd be
Yeah.
nice if that was clearly labeled, mintable or not.
Well, it would be nice if it was standardized. I mean, they've put
Mhm.
the standardization in to call them all Gen 3 now, which is something
That
I've
is
been
nice.
beating on
Yeah,
because it was so confusing.
yeah.
Um, but you would have thought they'd all be treated the same. I must admit, I wasn't a big,
Right,
and I'm still not a big fan of grind and brews being able to craft common, uncommon, and rare. For me, it should be a rarity chance like everything else. You should get a mythic
random.
if you're lucky.
Yeah,
But at the moment, that's just a dead item in the game. You can't get it.
right.
So yeah, I'd like them to revert back to it's a chance depending what you're going
Mhm.
for, and I think they should all be mintable. I didn't realize that they weren't.
Yeah, yeah. It threw me off because I was like, oh, okay, now I got three of these that I can't give any away, and
Hmm.
yeah, so I sold one and kept two. So I was like, what else am I gonna do with it? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you crafted anything, Mikey?
any lands? No, I haven't done anything like that.
Hmm.
Not really into any of the fabrication levels yet. I and kind of working on that in the
Hmm.
background. Yeah, a Gen 3 solar panel, and I liked your video that you did on the Gen 3 CAD and how you can get some like Fab XP out of it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to go buy one, but I couldn't get one. I was just like, I tried to chase it. I was like, oh, let's go with the Gen 2, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, for me, I think that with land and stuff, I think they, definitely are working on something big in the background. It seems like whenever I go into the Discord, there's a lot of where can I put this land? There's no open DTMs. Now I don't know if that's just like a disconnect with like a new person navigating, or if there legit
Hmm.
isn't any open DTMs. And I think
Right.
the mini DTM things, I think they were kind of like a little blindside almost. I didn't understand them, and then there's like this like 100-day or something expiration date on it or something. So I
Hmm.
didn't know what they were doing with that, but I think the land and the plot thing is something that they're tying together soon. It seems like based on this
Yeah. I
going.
hope
Yeah.
so. You know what I want to see is when you go to the world map and you're looking for that DTM that's possibly available to place lands, just have it highlight different where it looks there's like a key and it tells you, oh, if it lights up green, there's some available land, some space. Because right now, no matter what you hover over, space or no space, it all looks the same. So
Yep.
it should be clear, like, oh, hey, new person, guess what? There's land here. It should be clear for the
Yep.
new person.
No,
Like
I
I can
agree with
find
that.
land because I know how to do it. I just go and check all of them. But someone who's not so patient and maybe new, it could be frustrating looking for a new piece of land. Yeah.
Yeah. And I understand why they've put the 180-day timer on the mini DTMs,
Hmm.
because they don't want lots of empty space everywhere. But
Right.
I'm kind of the mindset, if you've bought a DTM, if you've paid for it, to
Hmm.
lose it after the rights to that exclusivity after 180 days, given that you might have bought it as a new player,
Yeah.
you might have put some money in to say, I want to secure my lands as a start and build up. To earn the money, and even now it's going to be more expensive, to earn the money to put those lands down, it kind of feels 180 days probably isn't enough. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that expiration
The
timer.
expiration time. So you kind of see it both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
I almost
Yeah.
bought one not knowing what was going on, and I'm kind of because I
Hmm.
already had my thing going on, and I was just like, oh, this could be a way to expand, but it kind of would have taken my whole focus if I actually did it. So, yeah, it was a little confusing for me.
Yeah.
So certainly what I did is I just collected a load of lands and I just dumped them down and created my own, in essence, mini DTM
Yeah.
rather
Like
than
once they
paying
open
to
one.
secure it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Once they
here.
opened it, I just
Actually,
went bang.
Santi, you and I are in the same like DTM. You're like
Hmm.
down to like the lower left. I'm like to the upper right. I don't know if you ever noticed that on
Oh
Which
yeah, I
one of
saw
the
MC
you.
you in?
DT.
I got my eye
Which
on my
Yeah,
MC?
competition. I seen you. See,
competition. Hey,
who's?
we're good together,
Yeah.
man.
I was
No,
like, oh,
we're
he's my neighbor. Yeah,
good.
you're more on like the upper right side, next to the like the edge of the
Yeah,
map. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Which MC are you guys?
Like 18. I don't know. I
Oh,
can't look
okay.
right now because of
I'm
the
not
stream
sure. Yeah,
or the
same here.
video recording. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say 18, 17, something like that. It was like you said, like a brand new one opened. I had enough lands to make my little sunflower thing. You know where you got like the 6 and the 7 right in the middle. I wanted to do that, so I purposely saved up enough land and did that.
Yo,
Now I
I was
actually,
like
oh, good.
chomping at the bit to get mine down. I was like, oh my
Hmm.
god, I see a path. I'm like, where am I gonna put this?
Yeah.
Like, if I put it here, I'm gonna be blocked, and I won't have it. Where I had to
Hmm.
like, I was blown away at what I had to like think about to get down like 12 plots. And I was gonna do one more. I waited a day, and like 5 or 6 around me gone. The whole thing was gone. It was just like that
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
And they do go quick. And
The whole
Oh
certainly if
yeah.
map.
you've got lands, you just put them all down and just face the fact that the rest of them are all going to be gone by the time you're ready to put any more down,
Hmm.
because it is quick.
I did pick up a mini. I don't know about you guys, but I got a 15 space. I think it's like 5K it cost me. So I thought that was, pretty good for what I need it for. And then I'm gonna try to drop like only rares and above on it. So
Oh,
just
I think they're
create this
great if
massive
you have a
space.
plan for it. If you got a
Yeah.
plan for it and you can use it, yeah.
Hmm.
I think that if you're a new player and you're like, "Oh, I'll buy this," and you think that you've
Yeah.
got what you need and you don't, you know what I mean? So that's if you got a plan for it, absolutely, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
The timer though, the timer is like in the back of my mind, like you got 1 day
Yeah.
less and you didn't buy any lands today. It's like, oh no. So
So talking of strategies,
yeah.
as a new player,
Yeah.
or a new player comes in, what would be the one building which you would say, do you know what? You've got to have it. One building. A hard question, I know.
That's a good question.
Well, it's like, how do you, with one building, all right, like you're gonna. I mean, for me, I think that the premium pass gives you like some of the core buildings. So it's like just going with the premium pass would probably be the best route to take because you get a few. I mean, to choose just one, I'd really have to think about it. We have to actually, it would probably be something like a rover works. Honestly, that's what I would pick.
Yeah.
Straight for the rover?
Yeah, dude, it makes the most sense at that point that it just takes power.
Power,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was kind of excluding solar panel from this conversation.
You are okay, because I was dang it, I was gonna say that.
Uh,
I would probably go greenhouse because you can feed other people with what you produce, and you can feed yourself, and then you can slowly branch into like water filter, and then maybe if like you start earning, you can get a mining rig. A mining rig does cost a little bit more, but then you can mine the ice for the water filter. And I think those three buildings would be a good start: the greenhouse, water filter, and then the mining rig. I don't know.
I go controversial.
What?
I'd go library.
Library?
You know what? That's not a bad strategy, right?
Hmm.
Any of the special buildings really is not a bad gig. Because like even leveling up a library, you can get like 5 spots or more on some of those levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't forget you can do a library really cheap. So
Okay,
250 dust,
that's
300
fair.
dust. Oh, I can't remember what it is. You can level it up pretty quickly. You get some
Mm-hmm.
decent tasks. And actually, there's some of the most profitable tasks. Yes, you can't do many of them. Yes, they take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a new player and you just want to tick in some dusk, I don't think you could do any worse.
Man, this is great. We all had different answers.
Yeah.
This is what I like because it's
That's why
it's
you have a
not clear.
podcast.
That's why this game is so
Yeah.
great too. Like, there's not just one path to excellence. I mean, you have options.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
library.
and they
That's
make
kind of
it that
thinking.
way, you know what I mean? Like the
Mm-hmm.
team is focused on making all areas really well rounded. So if some areas failing, if it's failing for a while, like they're gonna work on not making that fail or make it come into spec where it makes sense. So that's the other thing of it. Nothing's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna dwindle away and just be completely worthless. That's just the kind of team you have on this project.
Yeah,
Do you know what? That is probably the most useful comment we shall get out of this podcast.
that
That
one
piece
nailed
of
it.
information.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
All
the
right.
reason being, and the classic example of it is pirate radio went from nothing to hero back to nothing, and it will come back again. Um, recipes, you look at it, there are so many recipes out there which people go, do you know, why would I want that? Power Cell 3, classic example. Why would I possibly want a Power Cell 3 recipe? You
Right.
wait 3 months' time, you watch that being the most expensive recipe on the market. Calling it now.
It definitely
And
could be.
it's because it goes through the various phases.
Mm-hmm.
Um, pick up stuff when it's cheap, when it's out of favor. Just sit on it. Yes, you're talking about tying up dusk, but things which you think are useless, if you've got a few spare dust to pick them up, like grow mushrooms, the recipe's like 80 dusk. Pick it up. Just pick it up because mushrooms will come back. They'll be super strong. There'll be a component in cooking. Calling
Yeah.
that now as well. And yeah, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
want the recipe. And it's just do little things like that. Iron ore,
I like that.
dirt cheap iron ore.
Oh, it's so cheap right now. I won't even sell
Yeah,
mine.
yeah,
I'm like, it used to be
exactly.
worth something. I'm not selling it now.
Yeah,
But it's like seasonal.
you
It's almost like summer, winter, like vibes 2 months ago, 10 dusk, right?
Oh my
Vibes right
god.
now
Yeah.
under 3.
yeah.
So like, and this could change because you can see they're trying to get the vibe cost or the stock of them down so the price goes up on them or whatever, and they're probably looking for that 5 dusk range or whatever. But now they're cheap, so like if you want vibes, get vibes now, or like you said, ore is very cheap. If you use ore, maybe stock up. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's why I say that that's a
Mm,
really good piece of advice because do
yeah,
not approach this game with it being constant. It is not that at all.
right.
Yeah, like even rovers, whatever nerfed on rovers, like I kind of got into rovers just
Hmm.
within that time frame, not even knowing what I was doing. But running 4 haulers, 10 hours, brought my uncommon up to level 8, so it's like
Mhm.
every 10 hours I'm able to run 4 haulers, and I'm pulling in ores, I'm pulling in copper, I'm pulling in shards. It's like
Mhm.
it might not be something that's really high value right now, but those things, especially like metals and stuff like that, and stuff of that nature, that's needed for whatever we're going to be doing on Mars with these updates. So just keep all that stuff in mind. Like nothing's going to go away, you know.
That's
Agreed.
awesome. So we're
Yeah.
at about over an hour, a little bit. You guys want to just maybe do this another time as well? And obviously, we could talk
Yeah.
about Mars for days. But
We
Yeah,
could.
no,
yeah, I think for the
I'm
sake
cool.
of video length, you
Whatever
know,
you
and
guys.
Well,
mhm.
let's pick it up again next week because no doubt
Yeah,
it'll all have changed by then.
yeah. Is there anything
Yeah.
you guys wanted to like? I don't know, like, touch on real quick that I might have skipped over because I was trying to usher the topics a little bit, keep somewhat of a pace. But
Yeah.
any closing statement? You don't have to have one either.
Yeah.
If
Not
not,
from
I'll
me, I
just cut
don't
this
think.
part out.
Yeah.
I'll
Just
just say,
Not from me.
you know,
mhm,
keep an eye on the market, keep an eye on the DigiPedro page,
mhm.
keep an eye on numbers. You know what I mean? That's really what's going to kind of tell you what's going to happen. So no one can tell you. You know, none of us here can tell you what to do in this game.
Mhm.
You've just got to do your own research, follow the people that you believe in, connect with the communities that make sense for you, and then just do your own thing. You know, be your own success story within the game. So that's my
Ooh, I like
piece.
that. That was good.
Yeah. My piece would probably be don't overstretch.
Mhm.
Don't try and do too much. Take it slow, take it steady. Get yourself a solid Dusk foundation built, um, and then potentially just hoard a little bit. Be a little bit of a hoarder. So don't necessarily be on that place where you've just got to sell everything to do the next thing. Take your time.